Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
We're a movement by ourselves, but we're a force when we're together. We're all good by ourselves, but baby, you make us better. That's right, it's that time again. You definitely make us better, and we're hoping we're making your day better as well. If you're happy to listen to us while at work, or you're just waiting for the bus or the train, or even just sitting back relaxing, welcome. This is episode 2 of our podcast known as Knicksfandom. But before we really start, I got to do some housekeeping issues. You can find links to our show on Knicksfandom on Spreaker.com, that's Spreaker.com, as well as on iTunes. Also be on the lookout for our upcoming Facebook page as well, which will contain links to our podcasts, blogs, and other Knicks-related items. This is also an independent podcast that is not officially affiliated with the New York Knicks at this point and or time. Also, it would be a big appreciation if you can please subscribe, share, and give a positive review to the podcast when you have a chance on iTunes. It would be greatly appreciated. I'm your host, LA Blackwell, and I'm joined by one of my co-hosts, Danny D. How you doing, brother?
Danny D in the building, LA Blackwell. Thank you so much. It's another great episode to chill with you, my brother. Just another day. It's a slogan we say, brother. Keep it positive, man.
Definitely. Good to have you, brother. I'm also joined by my other fellow co-host, Flau. How's everything going?
Brother, I'm good. Brother LA, I'm very good, man. Let's get it popping, man.
Definitely. Let's get it on. Basically, regarding the weekly roundup, the last time we was here, we had the Knicks were going to the Pistons game. Basically, we had 4 games since the last time of our previous podcast. I'll just do a quick breakdown regarding it. Last Tuesday, away game against the Pistons, the Knicks lost 102-89. On Wednesday, they had a home game against the Rockets. They lost again, 130-103. And on Friday, they had an away game, which was Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah's homecoming game. They fortunately won 117-104. And then today, the same day this podcast recording, they lost the home game against the Jazz 114-109. So basically, the Knicks went 1-3 in the previous 4 games, initial podcast, and now stand a record of 2-4. Danny, please summarize your thoughts about these most recent games, but I don't want to go into too many individual game specifics as of yet, but just give a brief synopsis right now, brother, please.
The synopsis I got right now, and Flo, is that with these games, we not rebounding with the losses. I don't know what's going on. In the Detroit game, we got out-rebounded 63-48, right? Mm-hmm. We paid Joakim Noah $72 million to have 2 points and 8 rebounds in that Detroit game? That's what y'all telling me, guys, fellas? Please tell me that's not what's happening. What's going on? That's what's happening.
Pretty much.
The Houston game, we also got out-rebounded 66-45. They had 50 points in the paint. Joakim Noah, I love the brother, but he had no points. He had no points and 2 rebounds. How are you the starting center? You got no points and 2 rebounds. You got to tell me what's going on. And thank goodness we won the Chicago game.
Oh,
and we barely won that. We barely won that. They scored over 100 points. And today, with the Jazz game, I don't know. That was the biggest collapse I ever seen. We started off good. I don't know what's going on. We did go with the rebounders, but we can't stay out of foul trouble. They went to the line 35 times. How do you go to the line 35 times? You gotta have me. I don't know what's going on, fellas. We gotta talk about this. That's what we're talking about right now, fellas. That's what my synopsis is again. We got out rebound. We got to rebound and play better defense because I don't know what's going on, and we stagnant on the offense for a couple of games. Thank goodness we won the Chicago game.
Definitely. And Flo, same question goes to you as well.
It was a tough week for the Knicks. You know, that game Tuesday against Detroit, we lost 102-89. Tobias Harris got busy, 25 points. Andre Drummond had 13 rebounds. The guy that lead the assist with the Knicks was Joakim Noah with 8. Now, with the Houston game, it was a back-to-back game. Knicks got blown out. This game was over early. I think the Knicks should have just forfeited the game. They had no business playing because they had no interest whatsoever. No interest whatsoever. the Houston Rockets was able to get to the basket at will whenever it felt like it. The leading scorer for Houston and the high man in assists was James Harden, 30 points, 15 assists. He did whatever he wanted. He attacked the basket. Houston was running up and down the floor. There was no defense by the Knicks whatsoever. When you have 2 7-footers in the starting lineup, I expect you at least to be in the top 5 and block shots. That's not happening right now. Matter of fact, Porzingis was in foul trouble in that game. As opposed to the Chicago game, that was a homecoming. Friday night, Knicks win 117-104. I know Dwayne Wade had 35 points, and he also had 10 rebounds. But Derrick Rose had 11 assists, 3 turnovers. He got busy. Also, Porzingis got busy in that game, and also my man Carmelo. In terms of the Utah game, what I've noticed with this Knicks team, and it goes back to even when Mike Woodson was the coach, I remember specifically Tyson Chandler was always complaining that the Knicks do too many switches, and they've been doing this all season, especially in this Utah game. They do a lot of switching. They don't figure out a way to come out of that pick and roll on the pick and roll defense. They've got to learn how to stay in their man and just fight through these screens. They got to learn how to do that. The biggest problem with this Knicks team right now is their defense. Right. They got to be able to play defense consistently.
Definitely. And my perspective regarding the 4 games, basically going into it, I expect them to go no worse than 2-2. I thought they might have won against the Pistons and the Rockets, maybe lose to the Bulls and the Jazz, basically because I thought maybe Noah and Rose would be a little too hyped up returning back to Chicago, their first game. They might struggle a little bit, so I kind of anticipated, but they surprised me shockingly. I was happy about that. Rockets, I was very shocked they didn't show up, but it also, on one level, I kind of understand it was a back-to-back game. The Piston game, I kind of took a lot out of them. But it's no excuse. You got to show up. You got to play better than that. It was an atrocious effort on that part. And also, I believe they really should have went 3-1 when it was really all said and done. I thought they had the capability of doing that. But basically going 1-3 was just not what I expected at all. A big letdown. But it's still in the season, but you want to keep saying that because the season can get old and short real quick. And
I agree.
Oh, no, go ahead, Danny. Danny D.
No, I agree with you. But then the thing is with the Houston game, you let Marcus Harless come off the bench for Houston.
Right.
Definitely. I don't remember who that guy is. He comes to I don't even know who that guy is. You know what I'm saying? I know he played at Louisville. You let him come off the bench giving high fives. I think he had 17 and 11. I don't even know who that guy. He was in the D League. You can't let this happen. You gotta play with heart. And I think they said Joe Hornacek said that the coach said they're tired legs, they're tired from the back to back. No, like LA and Flo said, ain't no excuse for that. Y'all getting paid none. No, I'm tired. You understand what I'm saying? It's no excuse for that. You got practice and things like that. We got to go out there and ball. We got to play. And the bench, they're trying to do their thing. We're trying to come collectively as a group. But we got to learn from these games, fellas. We got to try to get it together and see what's going on.
Definitely. Is there any specific notables, particularly game-wise or player-wise, that stands out to you, Flo? Like a specific game that, I don't know if you want to start from the first game.
I mean, with the Detroit game, that's a game that they should have won. I'm annoyed because I believe the Knicks gave up 46 points in the paint overall in the game against the Detroit game.
Right.
Detroit shot 8 of 13 from 3. So pretty much there was no defense whatsoever in terms of defending the 3. And at one point when the Knicks were trying to make their comeback in the fourth quarter, there was 2 possessions where Rose was doing a little bit too much dribbling. Carmelo turned the ball over. And another time when the Knicks had the ball back, when Detroit had a turnover, Melo was fouled. Refs blew the call, and he missed a jump shot. And from there, like I said, they were sloppy. Pretty much that there was no transition D whatsoever. Again, Detroit was able to run up and down the court and score at will. It was embarrassing to watch that Detroit game. Embarrassing. That loss hurt me more than the Houston game. In the Houston game, they didn't even show up at all. They should have just, like I said before, in the Houston game. I don't even want to pull up numbers for the Houston game because if I pull out some numbers, you guys will be real shocked.
Yeah, I agree.
Back to back.
I agree with you, Flo. And then back to back. But also to add to Flo, in the fourth quarter, after they didn't score after the 5:40 mark, they didn't score. That was it. That was the end of the game. They didn't score after that. It was 5:40 left in the fourth. They didn't even score. How you don't score with 5:40 left in the game?
To add to Danny, he's correct. 10 straight possessions, no basket. 10 straight possessions.
Definitely.
They scored 10 points in the fourth quarter.
But
10 points.
yeah, to me, that whole game, they just wasn't physical. Just watching the game, you could just see like they was out rebound. I believe 48-63, and then basically just inside, Harris was crushing them to me. It's like he just running right up the chest of their team. It's like it was nothing in the paint. Nobody's really stepping up, meeting the offense where they stood. Also, just looking at once again, Lee didn't come up to play well. To me, it seemed like when Lee doesn't play well, it's a big barometer of how the team is playing for one reason or another right now. And when he had, 7 points, he was not effective at all to me. You also had, I thought Morris did a great job against Carmelo. I think he was battling. He was intense. He was like a little battle back and forth in the beginning. And I thought he got the best of it. I also thought Caldwell, he was hitting some big shots with 4 or 6 from downtown. The Knicks really got nothing from three-point land. Porzingis was okay, but sometimes he was not doing that great, stopping him in the middle also against Harris. To me, it's just a mismatch effort, basically, on my side. We go on that game.
Mm-hmm.
And, so basically after that, you had, the Houston game?
Yeah,
if you want to go through that real quick, maybe 130 to 103. James Harden showed in my opinion. Once again, same type of issues. Didn't show up defensively. They field goal wise, the Knicks was shooting 40%, I think, in that game. Again, turnovers hurt them. Rebounds was horrible. What was it? Something 50, I think 51-34, something of that nature. It was not good at all with that. I mean, y'all can go into more detail.
Like you said, LA 66 to 45 in rebounding. Like you said before. Houston had 50 points in the paint. And I don't know what's going on. Like you said, defensively, it was horrible. Defense was horrible. KP, he had 3 points, 8 rebounds. And it was just a horrible game. Like you said, they didn't show up. They should have stayed at home and went to a Houston concert or something like that, because I don't know what was going on out there, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I hear y'all.
Mike Jones would have been performing tonight or something like that. We've been good.
And Flo, how about you?
I mean, watching the Knicks play defense against the Rockets, it was like, where's Waldo? That's what it was, pretty much, man. It's horrible. I mean, the only time the Knicks played D in this Houston game was when they gave up only 18 points, but the game was already over. The first, Houston scored 33 points in the first quarter, 35 points in the second quarter, and then 32 points in the third quarter. No defense whatsoever by this Knicks team. Matter of fact, the Rockets were 11 of 28 from three-point range through 3 quarters. And they were 19 for 27 from the free throw line through 3 quarters. You don't even want me to pull up the fourth quarter stat. All right? This is a joke. The Knicks look like a jump shooting team against Houston. Houston, again, had wide open jump shots. Like I said, they're running up and down the court, and they got a lot of offensive rebounds. Every time they missed their shot, they were getting a lot of offensive rebounds and putting it back in, man. Knicks didn't get any defensive board whatsoever. No interior defense at all. I thought the Knicks were going to have a little spark when Coach Horner said put in Ron Baker, get a little spark going, but this game was pretty much over, man. This was a joke. It was an embarrassment. Pretty much, oh man, I was losing my mind watching this Houston game, man. I really was. And I decided, you know what, after watching this game, I said, you know what, let me go back and forth, because I know Detroit was playing. They were playing the Nets. Right. So this was a back-to-back game also.
And
I was kind of curious.
Job against them.
I mean, Brook Lopez had 4 threes. He embarrassed Andre Drummond. I think he had career high. I think he had 34 points in that game.
In that game. Made us look bad, man. New York really looked bad. It's like, this is how you do it, little brother. Let's just take care for you. And, I had some Net fans coming at me afterwards. I basically said, we wore them out for you. That's basically the only thing we could say. Some rope-a-dope stuff. But what can you do, man? And, definitely agree with both of y'all. They did not show up. And once again, the Knicks, some players got to step up individually and put the onus on them. Whether it's a Melo, whether it's as another player up front, Porzingis, somebody got to step up. It's crazy. You can't have Anderson going off like that. 26 points, 7 to 13 from downtown. You can't do that. Harden, we know what he's going to do. He's playing the point guard position on D'Antoni. They're running the ball up and down the court. There was no reason to let the game get away like that. I mean, even from the beginning, it was down 27 to 15. You're not going to come back doing that. It takes way too much energy, scraping away back and forth, trying to get back in the game. Especially with the way the defense is right now. Nobody's stepping up. They're switching all the time. You can't afford to do that right now. You have a good offense. Yeah. Solid, but you got to make sure that defense is working right now, and you're not seeing the rotate, you're not seeing the help defense at all in certain spots. Also, Lee 8 points, 2 or 4, not horrible, but you got to get more than that out of your two-guard position, basically, in my opinion. Anything else you want to add about that game before we get to a bright spot? The one bright spot.
I got one more thing.
Go ahead, Flo.
I have one more thing to say about that Houston game. You know what the best thing about that Houston game was after the game, when Brandon Jennings said something to Coach Mike D'Antoni. I think he felt that the Rockets were running up the score with shooting threes, right. And he said something to him. That's the only highlight of the Knicks game. Pretty much. That was the only player with some fight. Only player with fight.
I hear you, definitely. And then basically we have Chicago, the one game that they did show what they're capable of doing. It looks good basically throughout. They played a solid full game. Everyone pretty much stepped up. From Porzingis, he had like 27. Noah had 9 boards. Rose, 11 assists, 3 turnovers. Wade, Wade's going to basically their backcourt took over. Butler and Wade, they did their thing. But the front court was definitely all the Knicks. They had, 50% shooting, I believe, in that game. 3-point wise, it was 42%. Rebounds, there was pretty well. And for once, the turnovers didn't kill them. Chicago had more turn than they did. I'm not sure what it was. I think it's 5 to 14 to 13, something of that nature. But Porzingis did his thing, 27. Melo had, I think, 25. Basically, everyone did what they were supposed to do in that game. And the big thing was they shut down the opposing players on the Bulls in the front court. It wasn't just a mismatch, Melo 25, the other person with 23, 24. Basically, Gibson and Lopez really didn't do anything in that particular game. Anything you'd like to say there, Flo, about that game?
I definitely have a lot to say about that Chicago game.
Okay.
First and first, gentlemen, did you guys were able to see the tribute that the Bulls gave to Rose and Noah?
I saw some of it.
Yes. I saw some of it.
Okay, they did an excellent job with that. They had Chance the Rapper rapping, with their tribute, and it showed you, how what Noah and Rose brought to Chicago for all these years. But in the game, I just want to correct you on the turnovers. The Knicks had 5 turnovers in that Chicago game. 32 assists. They shot 9 of 21 from 3. Every starter from the Knicks scored at least 15 points. The Knicks dominated. The Knicks dominated in every quarter with exception of the second quarter when they were outscored 34-24. That was the only quarter where the Knicks were where it was just, like I said, Chicago made a big run with Wade, but other than that, the Knicks dominated, first quarter, third, and the fourth. 32 points in that first quarter, up by 9, 32-23. The Knicks scored 28 points in that third quarter. And on the fourth quarter, the Knicks scored 33 points, man. Excellent job by this Knicks team. Excellent job. Rose looked aggressive, attacking the basket.
Oh, did he?
Porzingis knocked down some threes. And Courtney Lee, I believe, shot 5 for 5 from the field.
Yeah, definitely. And Porzingis shot 4 or 7 from threes. And like I would say, it leads the barometer, 17 points. That's a huge game for him. I also thought Jennings did a great job coming off the bench that game. He's been struggling a little bit. He had basically I think was 6 points, 7 assists, and 5 boards. Did a real good job to me. That's what they really need and be like a, poor man Vinny Microwave. Come off the bench, settle the team down, get some points. That's a big difference. When they go to the bench, a lot of times the team just basically falling apart, especially when they need to have him and Porzingis when they put him on the bench to be that strong 1-2 punch because they don't feel that comfortable having Noah as well as Porzingis in the starting lineup a lot of times. So I was really glad to see Jennings play well in that game. How about you, Danny? Danny D?
Yeah, like I said, like to piggyback on what you said, they play excellent. Everybody was in double figures. They was doing their thing. And also a bright spot, too, is Noah had a good game. He had 16 points because sometimes he has a liability on offense. Yeah, 16 points and 9 rebounds. That's all we need to get over the hump to do what they do. But an excellent game by the Knicks. I give credit when credit is due. They did their thing out there that night. Definitely. Even though Chicago still scored in the hundreds, though.
True. I just think
that's true. That is true.
The energy was huge in that game to me. I thought the way just seeing Rose and Noah, looked like it was having fun again. I just noticed Noah's smacking Rose in the back of the head a couple of times. It's like they was doing the playground. They was actually enjoying themselves. That energy is contagious a lot of time. That leads to winning. That makes people want to help you on defense. And that's what got to spread throughout the whole team,
Especially when Rose was getting booed in the beginning.
Oh, but he just lighted him up, man. He got invigorated by that, basically. Because at one point he's like, yeah, give me some more, That's what I want to see. Definitely.
Great game. Porzingis, like you mentioned, guys, 33 minutes, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 10 of 15 from the field, 4-7 from three-point range. Noah, like you mentioned, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 16 points. He shot 7-11 from the field. The biggest key to me in that game, I never got the sense that the Knicks were going to lose that game, even when they fell apart in the second quarter. Like you guys mentioned in episode number 1, I got to agree with you guys. They're going to definitely need some help in their bench because the bench played a lot of minutes in that second quarter, and they allowed the Bulls to make their run. So I definitely agree with you guys on that. So other than that, guys, I think in that second quarter, Porzingis got to continue to work on his post-up game. I think, at his size, he's 7'2", 7'3". And LA, you can correct me on that. When you get a chance, look that up for me, please. But a couple of times, I believe, he posted up 3 times. Porzingis, his height.
He's about 7 feet, I believe.
7 feet? Okay.
About 7 feet.
7'1"? Okay.
I think so.
Porzingis, a couple of times, I think he posted up 3 times in that second quarter. He only scored 1 basket on the post-up play. Like I said earlier, the bench kind of struggled to score baskets as a unit, man. Jennings got to work on his jump shot. He was moving the ball well, but he's got to work. He's got to work on his jump shot. That bench gave up too many threes on defense. That's what I noticed in that second quarter, which allowed the Bulls to come back, and actually take a 1-point lead going to halftime. Also, I love when the Knicks play on ESPN when Huey Brooks is the announcer. I love it, man. Definitely.
Oh,
definitely. I love that, man.
Definitely old school.
Great basketball knowledge, old school. It's beautiful, man.
Definitely. He makes the game, and he teaches you so much about the game at the same time without making you feel like he's above the game, The little nuances of it, definitely. But they haven't listed, you was correct the first time, Flau Porzingis 7'3". That's what they haven't listed as. But I just thought they really did a good job in that game. Although they did, Merchovic, he did his thing basically. What's he always going to do? He got 14 points during that game. That's just the thing. I want to see more people step up into the guys that's really going off against the Knicks. We really haven't seen somebody really taking that challenge yet individually. I'd like to see a little more of that, and then I think that would help with the help defense as well. That's something you got to just hope they'll continue to get better with as the season go along. I think that's pretty much it for those first 3 games. And like we said, that was a big win for the Knicks, but also with a big win, you have a big loss, which was today. 114-109 to Utah Jazz. Hayward had his first game of the season, and he showed up in a big way. The Knicks was in the game pretty much the whole time, but basically to the fourth quarter when it went back and forth. I don't know, Danny. You can go into detail with that, and I got my own thoughts about that afterwards.
Yeah, like I said, we were doing good until the fourth quarter, man. We just fell apart, man. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. The defenses fell apart. That's basically what happened. I'm at a loss of words right now. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I was doing good. We were up. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Jennings was doing this thing. They had to pick and roll to O'Quinn dunking on people. I'm like, yeah, man, this is it. And then that was it. Just poor defense.
He dunked on Gobert, dunked on us at the end. That was a nasty.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is ridiculous, man. I don't even want to talk about stats, man. Forget this, man. Caught this big old L. You had me hyped for no reason, man. Sunday matinee, man. Man, I got better things to do at 12 o'clock, man. Good gracious.
I thought Rose was really keeping him in the game. He was really just see the Rose just slicing and dicing through them, man.
Yeah.
I was loving it, just watching them, trying to keep him in the game. But just like every time, like you were saying, they had him in there and they would just basically let him they couldn't get any stops. They was trying to score.
No, at all.
And they would turn the ball over or they would make a shot and then they'll come back down and let them get another shot. It's like
You said you can't trade baskets when you're losing. You can't trade baskets. You got to get a stop.
They basically couldn't. It was, and then the free throws, like Flo said earlier, was just horrible. The differential, especially at home, you expect way more out of your team than that. And you want to go into
35. They went to the line 35 times. They were 30 for 35 from the free throw line. Knicks went to the line 19 times, 7 for 19, 35. They got 30 points, 30 free points.
You can't have that. You're not gonna win no games doing that. How about
at home?
Hey. Oh, this Knicks team gave me a headache. Up 30-20, first quarter. Jazz shot 32% from the field. After that, man, there was no defense from this Knicks team at all. Jazz pretty much dominated the last 3 quarters of this game. Oh man, it's really disappointing when you watch this Knicks team and you say to yourself, "Man, wow, talent is there. You got a good starting lineup." But again, where was Noah in this game? It just seemed like he was non-existent. This first half,
a lot of times. To me, I thought they needed him in the fourth, and they still. I at first thought he was in foul trouble or he was hurt, but he really wasn't. They just switched it, and I'm really gonna get on it. I'm a Hornacek fan, coaching-wise, but I thought he did a horrible job this game in the last quarter. Especially, I thought the Knicks was right there chasing him, and I thought the one person that's really playing really good defense was Jennings. And you took him out, and he was harassing the defender, getting some turnover, and you put in Lance. I don't even know why you put Lance in there. Why?
Thompson.
Exactly. It boggles the mind. I didn't get that at all. He gave you nothing. He wasn't hitting no shots. He didn't play no defense. I don't remember what his numbers was. I had to check it for a second. Anybody know what his numbers was in that game?
Does it really matter?
I got it right there. 29. He played 29 minutes, fellas. 2 of 5. Why? 5 points. What did you get out of that? You got nothing out of that. At least Jennings played 16 minutes, gave 2 or 4 or 5 points. He was trying out there. He had 2 assists. He had 2 steals. Thomas gave you nothing for 29 minutes. I saw no reason why you had him out there. Not in a game that was this close. And then I know you bring Carmelo in and use the 8-minute mark. Fine, you want to go small, I get that. But you should have kept Jennings out there with Rose in that backcourt. I would have kept that, Thomas, and Porzingis and the rest of them, and then maybe put Noah back in the game. I didn't understand it at all.
I agree. Jazz shot 63% in the second half of this game, man. 63%.
That's crazy.
It was a joke, man. It really was a joke. I mean, pretty much, Porzingis and Melo had 24 points in the first quarter of that, out of the 30 points the Knicks scored in that first quarter. But listen, man, it was frustrating. It really was frustrating watching this game. Especially in a game the Knicks should have won. Definitely. But again, it goes back to what I said before earlier in this podcast. Too much switching. There's too much switching going on. Why can't the Knicks fight through these screens and play pick and roll defense?
Can't disagree with you, especially now when you're not used to playing with each other. Because you saw a lot of times they did a trap. They try to get a turnover. I know you're going to gamble at the end. You were already down. But then nobody was at the basket. They go to dunk right there. It was like, why are you switching when guys are not used to this? It made no sense to me. Definitely agree with you, Flo. How about you, Danny?
Oh, man.
Everything you guys said. I agree with everything you guys said on that one. Everything I said.
Just want to add one more.
No, go ahead.
17 points from the bench, man. So definitely, I'm starting to agree with you guys. They're gonna have to figure out ways of trying to upgrade their bench. We saw a little bit of the kid that I mentioned in the first podcast, and correct me on his name. Bagauskas.
From the Knicks, you speaking about?
Yes, Lithuanian kid.
Oh, I know you're speaking about.
Saw a little bit of him.
Oh, Kaminskas.
Thank you, Kaminskas.
Mm-hmm.
Kaminskas. Saw a little bit of him, but again, this Knicks bench, I agree with you guys. If President Phil Jackson is gonna swing a deal, he's gonna have to definitely upgrade the bench, man, because I think the issue is really small forward. I'm starting to believe Lance Thomas is not the answer after watching this game. And,
I agree with you that one. I concur.
When Lance Thomas had a great free agent. Last year he was a free agent. put
Should be
up,
a free agent this year right now.
nice numbers. But the Knicks have his Larry Bird rights now, so they're gonna have to, Phil's gonna have to figure this thing out, man. Try to upgrade this bench. As far as right now, I think who's a keeper on that bench right now is Jennings and O'Quinn.
Yeah.
Those are the two guys. That's a lock.
I won't disagree right now because everybody else is not really proven. Like Baker, like I said before, but he's just not proven. Holiday, he's good, but he got hurt the other day. I'm not sure that's affecting his vision. I think he had a cut right underneath his eye. I'm not sure how that might be affecting him. They just need some more proven product. To Plumlee, you're not really getting anything out of him. You haven't seen Willie do anything. So it's like, it's basically what we thought it would be. Sasha, okay. But it's nothing really, to hold your hat on. So it's like when you're putting Thomas out there and players like that and they're not getting nothing out of there, you're having a big bump when your starters go to the bench. And as the season goes along, it's going to wear them out. You can't have Melo playing them type of minutes or Porzingis doing that and expecting to go far. Not when you're going to have to basically a 7 to 8 man rotation. Not right now. At least I don't believe. That's definitely going to lead right into injuries as well because you're making guys do too much too early.
I want to add to that. In terms of their bench, like I said a minute ago, and you guys just mentioned some names. One more time. Mention this kid's name one more time. I apologize.
Oh, Kuzminskis? I'm not sure I pronounced it correctly.
Kuzminskis.
Yeah. 6'9", small forward, Lithuanian.
Kuzminskis, Ron Baker, and Marshall Plumlee. I think they all need to be sent down to the D League and work in their games because you can see that Coach Hornacek doesn't have any confidence in these guys. Also, Herm Gomez got to be sent to the D League. I definitely feel like Phil Jackson's going to have to pull a trigger on the trade. If he has a veteran guy in the D League, bring him up. If he doesn't, they got to pull a trigger. The only guy right now that I believe the Knicks are waiting for is the point guard that played well in the preseason that was sent to the D League. I know he's recuperating right now, Chasson Randall. So hopefully once he's able to recuperate, play a couple games in the D League, the Knicks will bring him up definitely. But the issue is not point guard right now for the Knicks. It's the rest of their bench. That's where the issue is. The small forward position, number one. Also, the backup center position after Kyle O'Quinn. You need another backup, a guy that can play the 4 and the 5. What hurt the Knicks to me is letting Serafin go in the offseason to play with Indiana. That was a big time free agent loss for the Knicks. They definitely miss his scoring, especially in the low post, and his defense.
Can't disagree. How about Danny D? How about you?
I agree.
Okay.
So I don't know, the bench and things like that. I don't know. A big loss too was Lansing Galloway. That he's a proven guy that got busy, but he wanted too much money. The Knicks didn't want to pay. They could have took all the rest of those guys' salary and paid him some money because this is ridiculous. Especially when it comes to the bench. Good gracious.
Can't disagree with that. They stand at 2-4 basically. So where do y'all see this team right now? Just look at them right now. I mean, it's still early, but how you feeling about them? Nothing too deep. Just like your flash photography idea where you feel they are right now and where they're going forward. How you feel about them? Because the next game, I believe, against the Nets. So.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel we stand right now? Just to, give us a synopsis of where they are.
Right now, we're okay. It's not a panic mode. We're doing okay. We've shown some flashes. Like you said, it's still a young team. Young team meaning that they haven't been together right now. There's some chemistry. It's going to take some time. But like we said from the first podcast, defensively, we got to be better on defense. And I don't know if it's players on defense. It's the players' fault or now is that the coach fault that we're not playing defense. I got to figure out which one. Is it the player or is the coach? Because we got to get this together. As long as we can hold teams down defensively, if we're not scoring well, that's what we have to do. And the bench too. Those are the major things. Defense and the bench, and then we can work from there. We got to make the playoffs.
Oh, they definitely can't step back right now. It's been more than 4 years since they made it.
Yeah.
So if they don't make it, it's going to be some heads rolling. And I don't know if you're going to like the way this team is going to look after this. It's a definitely pivotal year. How about you, Flo?
Yes,
What
it
do
is.
you feel?
The problem here, just going back with the Utah game. At the end of the day, man, you play defense with your feet, not with your hands. And, like I said, this game was pretty much over. So for me, defense is key, like Danny D mentioned, and that bench. The bench has to get stronger. If you got guys on the bench you don't trust, Coach Hornacek, then you should definitely send these guys to the D League. Why you have them on the roster? Send them to the D League. Make a swing for a trade. Look, scout the free agent roster. See who's out there who's a free agent, a veteran out there, and sign them quickly because definitely you have a weakness at the back with small forward position. You got a weakness at the backup 4 or 5 position because pretty much after Kyle O'Quinn, you have nothing. You don't trust Herm Gomez, so you know what? Send him to the D League. Let him work on his game. It's a joke, man. When you watch this this Nick bench, it's really a joke. I gotta agree with you guys, man. This bench is the biggest weakness right now. It really is, and it's a shame especially when you have 5 starters, that have some playoff experience. But also, let's go back to the starting lineup: Courtney Lee and Joakim Noah. You're investing over 122 million dollars on 2 players. They got to give you more, man. They got to play with some energy, man. These guys, they're so inconsistent. It's a shame, man. It really is, man. Oh, man.
Yeah. Hard to disagree with you, Flo. I can't disagree. I definitely think, like both you and Danny D said, this is a team that's in basically transition, and they're trying to make a lot of things happen early. They're still trying to learn how to play with each other and defensive-wise. So there's a lot of different moving parts going on. But like we said, we knew the bench was weak coming in. We basically felt that, and you're seeing that. Also seen defensive-wise, they're going to have issues. You're also seeing with Noah. I pretty much like the majority of the way he's been playing, but like you said, he's been inconsistent. You got to do better in that regard. But I just feel like Lee also been consistent as well. So it's just a lot up and down. You got to step up. You got to get some wins. You got to play better than this, basically, especially at home. You can't afford to lose those type of
Yeah, it's
games.
home at home. You gotta win at home.
Those are the games that's going to hurt you when you make these playoff push, and you look back and you're like, wow, if you won this one or that one. You can't afford to do that this year. It's basically you're fighting for between 6 and 8 position. You got no choice but to win those type of games. When you lose Detroit, these are all tiebreaker type of games. So you got to take advantage of them when you can. Some of these teams will definitely get better as the season get along as well too. So you have to remember that, But basically, I think that was the majority of everything we had to talk about regarding the Knicks. Unless anything that stands out with either one of y'all think. Y'all want to speak about anything with that? If not, we'll do a transition and, talk about some of the noteworthy news segments regarding some NBA issues. Anything else y'all want to talk about regarding the Knicks?
I'm
No.
good. I'm good.
I'm done, man.
I hear you. So just to do a quick transition, noteworthy wise, King James, basically, he did his thing.
LeBron James.
And basically, he just moved past Hakeem Olajuwon and in the 10th place all time in scoring and passing. So, anything y'all want to say about Mr. LBJ regarding that?
Hey, just more to his accolades, man. That's all. Just more to his accolades. He gonna break some more records before he retires. So I give him. He's doing his thing, man. Keep up, LBJ, man. Doing your thing, player. I ain't hating on you, but you're doing your thing, player.
How about you, Flo?
Oh, LeBron James again, just building to his legacy, surpassing Hakeem Olajuwon, Hall of Famer. So LeBron is just getting up there, pretty much. So I give a shout out to him, right now. I'll give him a shout out right now. So LeBron James, congrats. And hopefully the Knicks can beat Cleveland again in a rematch.
Hey, I'd love to see it. I'm not the biggest LBJ fan, but you got to tip your hat where it means tipping it. He did his thing. He's putting up numbers. He's going to be right up there in that Mount Rushmore. He's going to keep chopping them down as he goes. He's been in the league basically since high school, so right after high school. So he's getting there a little quicker than normally a lot of players would get there. But, he's doing it, and we basically see him maybe come to the Eastern Conference Finals the way it looks, maybe in a championship. Hopefully not. Hopefully Knicks, another team can make that push, but that's neither here nor there right now. The also thing I noticed NBA know very wise was Ray Allen. Mr. He Got Game, Jesus Shuttleworth. He made it official. He retired on Tuesday, November 1st. Any thoughts about that? How about you, Flo? We talk about Mr. Jesus Shuttleworth, Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, future Hall of Famer. He's got a couple rings. You know, definitely. Excellent career by Ray Allen. Excellent career. Ring with Boston. I believe he's got touring with Miami. Excellent job. You know, well deserved, man. Congratulations on your retirement, Ray Allen. And hopefully in 5 years, we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely. How about you, Danny D?
Man, I'm upset that he's retiring. We need him for the bench. You know what I'm saying? We need that dude for the bench. I don't know why he's retiring for. I know he got to go another 2-3 years in him. He's a spot-up shooter that shoot threes. That's consistent. But big up Ray Allen. You know what I'm saying? Definitely did his thing. I think he's a product from Queens, too. Out there in Hillcrest High School, he did his thing, I think, connected through. But congrats, Ray Allen, man. You deserve it.
Definitely big time Husky before, you know. He won, I think he's won an Olympic medal as well, you know. And to me, when I always think about the He Got Game movie for different reasons. But also the main thing I think about is 2013, basically the shot that saved Miami at that time, saved LBJ, because he would have definitely caught heat from that game. If you look at it, he was the one that missed the shot against the Spurs, and that pushed it to the basically Game 7 when you saw the confetti, you seen them bringing out the trophy and everything like that from what we hear. And you had one of the biggest shots I ever seen without even looking at where his feet was at. So to me, when I think about clutch shooters, I'm thinking Ray Allen. And basically, I didn't even know he played 18 years. He averaged 18 points, I believe, and he played 18 years and like 4 assists. I didn't even know he played that long. It didn't feel like he... I mean, I guess it did, but, you know, time flies. I think he had almost a 20-year career, you know. But that's basically Mr. He Got Game. And for the NBA honorable mentions of the week, do any players stand out to you, Danny? How about you regarding any particular players or team that stand out for your NBA honorable mention of the week?
So my honorable mention for the week is going to be the LA Lakers, who got busy on Golden State.
Nice pick.
You know what I'm saying? Larry Nance Jr. caught the dunk on your man David West. David West looked confused, you know. Julius Randle out there getting busy. Had 20 and 14. Lou Williams had 20. In the fourth, them boys got busy. And big up to Steph Curry for breaking that streak that he lost. Now he's had 107 straight games for 3 days. Now he has to start all over. Let's go, LA Lakers. We 3-3, baby.
Golden State Warriors fans, you can send your emails to Danny D. regarding your assessment.
1797. I don't even care if it was a back-to-back. You caught an L.
Definitely. I was definitely shocked to watch that. It was like watching a video game almost, seeing them guys running back and forth. Young guys really doing their thing. Randall played well. And just seeing their face afterwards, seeing them go to the bench, and it's like you just seeing literally all them got caught Shane to Sung style. Just taking their souls, basically. The energy was just out of their face. Like, how did we get here so early? But, you know, this is what KD wanted. You know, like people say, sometimes you ask for something, you just might get it. So you got it. How about you, Flo? Who's your honorable mention of the week?
I got 2 shout-outs as honorable mention of the week. The first one is not even an NBA player. It's an NBA fan.
Okay.
OKC fan, Tony, who hit at halftime. Hit a shot for $20,000, man. Nice. Right now, if you're OKC, sign him up. Sign him up right now. Sign him up. And my NBA shout out of the week goes to my man Eric Bledsoe of the Phoenix Suns. Oh. My man, step back 3, game winning, over Dame Dollar at the buzzer. Beautiful job coming back from knee surgery. Shout out, my man Eric Bledsoe.
Sounds good. Sounds good. For me, I have 2. Basically, I'm going to give it the first one. This is not NBA related, but I got to give a shout out to Chicago Cubs. 1908, you can let that go. They won their first championship. Let the go. You know, it was basically great win seeing that. I stayed up late watching it, almost to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning almost. Just seeing that, seeing them, you know, the fans get that excited back and forth. This is why big reason why we did this podcast is just, you want to have that joy. You don't want to be bouncing back for teams. You want to go through not 100 years type of thing, but basically you want to understand what it is to go through that type of not seeing a team win and then come out of nowhere and win something like that, and seeing the joy and, you know, just going through such high and lows and just seeing some people go to the walls, seeing some people that's not even here anymore, and just seeing the joy they have going back to some of the grave sites and different things, just showing that celebration, that appreciation for what it was. I just thought that was a nice thing to see for them. And basically, NBA-wise, it will go to DeMar DeRozan. It's the first player, you know, to go for basically 30 points in his first 4 games, of 40, 32, 31, and 40 since MJ, Kobe, and KD. That's some good company to put yourself in. So, to me, that was a big shout out to DeRozan. These are the guys thought the Knicks might have a chance of going for as a free agent, but he got a ton of money, so that wasn't going to happen. But definitely good to see him come out playing as well as he's playing. Anything else, Danny or Flo, you'd like to say right now?
Go ahead, Danny.
I'm good right now, man. I'm good right now. So my right.
Okay. Flo?
Well, for me right now, guys, I know right now a big free agent right now that's available. I would love to have, but I don't think it's a weakness for the Knicks. Mario Chalmers, still a free agent.
True.
You know, he's a much better ball player than Lance Thomas.
Oh,
you know,
we can't disagree with that right now. I'm not the biggest Chalmers fan, but hey, if you can get him, he might be a little help right now. Although I prefer a little more size if we could get it.
Another guy I was looking at, Chase Budinger, 28 years old, forward.
Okay, I didn't know he's available.
Yeah,
It can't hurt to take a look at it right now. Definitely can't.
the Knicks should definitely send some scouts to you know take a look at him. Like you said, man, you can't hurt. It can't really can't hurt, man.
I hear you. Definitely. Well, you know, we'll see what happens on the waiver wire. But also, one thing I want to say before the show ends is one little round table, little issue I want to bring in that we might want to do today and see how that works out. Basically, I saw NBA GM survey for 2016 as basically agree or disagree. I wanted to pick three different questions they had and see if both of you what you pick for the top 3 in both of the questions. Y'all open to that?
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Okay. Basically, one of the questions they had was, which player would you want taking a shot with the game on the line? What would be your top 3 players NBA-wise? I'll start with you, Danny.
Person that I want taking the shot.
The game
Point guard?
Any player in the league.
It has to be any player?
And
Any
this was
player in the league
basically-
right now.
Definitely. This is the survey that was done by the GMs at the beginning of the season, and this was their consensus, basically. So I just want to see where we measure up, seeing what their top 3 would be at these questions versus our top 3. And maybe some of the fans would have an idea what their top 3 would be thinking about it. So that basically, which player would you want taking a shot with the game on the line?
Definitely got to put in no particular order. Definitely got to put Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's definitely in there.
Okay. Who's your number 2 or 3 in the order?
Number 2 or 3 in the water. I might have to go with Kevin Durant.
Okay. Sounds good.
As opposed to a shot. I'm going with KD.
And your third
And the
one?
third person, I'm over here. I'm thinking I have to go with my main Damian Lillard from Portland.
Ooh. Okay.
Ah,
All right. How about you, Flo? What's your top 3 for that same question?
believe it or not, LA, I'm going to have to pick a player that you're a big fan of. Number 1, Kyrie Irving, Uncle Drew, man. I got to put him up there, number 1. Based on what I saw in that NBA Finals Game 7, I got to put him up there, number 1, man. I'm not a big fan of him. I know he's a West Orange, New Jersey product, but he's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2. I'm going to have to put Jamal Crawford.
Ooh. Shake and
Definitely a
bake.
guy that create his own shot. You know, shake and bake, create his own shot. Number 3. Oh, man. Number three. I think I'm going to have to go with Stephen Curry.
Okay. Stephen Curry. All right. For my top 3, I'll pick Steph Curry. You know, he can hit it pretty much out the building, half court. And basically, I just try to think about if I had the house on the line, who would I trust shooting that shot? For me, it'd be number 2. I had to pick my man Melo. You know, I feel like he can knock it down with anybody out there. Threes, pull up. I don't mind him having a shot at the end of the game. And then number 3, like you said, Flo, I had to go with my man Kyrie. You know, I feel like he showed it in the championship game. What more do you ask for the man? And basically, I'll give y'all the answer that the NBA gave, GMs-wise. They gave Steph Curry at 75%. That was the number 1 pick. LeBron James, 10.3% as number 2. I don't know about that one. And then number 3, they had a combination of Melo, KD, James Harden, and Kyrie. So that was the answers for that question. Might be some shocking answers to that to some people. I don't know about how about y'all. Y'all thought some shocking answers with that?
To be honest with you, not really, because I actually had Melo on my mind and LeBron, but I took them out because at the end of the day, I was just thinking of guys that that can hit it consistently. I love Melo to death, but I don't want to be biased and pick him all the time. That in a question like that, so that's why I passed on choosing Melo.
Okay, sounds good. I got 2 more questions regarding this. Another question they had was, who's the best center right now in the NBA? Who will be a top 3? Let's start with you this time, Flo.
Oh, man. Top 3 NBA centers.
You know who you want to name, brother. You know who you want to name. Right from the Clippers. Come on, brother. Let it be known. That's a little inside joke right there. Y'all get to know more about it. Come on, brother. You know what to say. Come on, let it go.
Let me go and cut you off right there. I'm going to pick Mr. Brook Lopez of the New Jersey Nets.
Oh, man.
That's right.
He
Let me
was gonna
correct
be a
that.
homer right there.
New
All right.
Jersey, Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets. I apologize. Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
That's number 1. Number 2, Boogie! Cousins.
Okay. And your number 3?
And the last big fella. Oh, man. Who am I forgetting that I should put on this list? Who am I forgetting? Let's see. Ooh. Oh, man. I'm going to go with the kid from Toronto.
Okay.
Can't pronounce it. Valanciunas? I'll go with him.
Valanciunas? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Okay. How about you, Danny D? Who's the best center in the NBA right now to you?
We got to go. I mean, Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins is definitely on that list. We know that.
Okay.
He's got to be on there. Let me see another center that I'm trying to think about. A true center. I'll throw your man, the $100 million man, Gobert from Utah.
Ooh. Okay. I think this game might have
we throw them in.
a little onus on him. Okay.
And this is gonna surprise y'all because he's a true center. If you don't mess around, and stay consistent, not crying all the time. I'm gonna throw your man, no post moving, non-rebounding having, aka Dwight Howard in that mix.
Oh man, D Howard. Ooh. Oh, no, I can't put him for that one. Maybe a couple years ago, but I don't know about now. For me, the best center I would put. Got to put Boogie, like you said, Flo. Got to put him up in there. I'm not sure which order yet, but definitely put him there. Then I would put, I'm not sure, I think you would have to put him there, though. He may not be to some legit center, but he plays it. And I think you got to put the brow there, Anthony Davis. I think you got to put him in that category. Up and coming, he does a lot at that position. I think he's going to reinvent it the way he's playing right now. And then also I would put another young guy, Karl Anthony Towns. I think he's going to be a legit player out there. He's going to give you a different look from that position. He plays defense. He can score. He is almost 3-point land. He does a lot of the different things you're not seeing from big men. So I think you've seen a transition right now at that position. So to me, that'd be my top 3. To the GMs, from what looking at, they had number 1, they picked your favorite guy, Flo and Danny D, DeAndre Jordan, 33%. They picked him. Number 2, they picked, DeMarcus Cousins with 26%, Davis at 16%, Marc Gasol at 13%, Karl Anthony Towns at 6.7%, and they put Draymond Green at 3.3%. So that was your top centers by the GMs for this beginning of this year. And for the final question, who was the best point guard in the NBA? Danny D, you can go first with this one. Your top
Best
3.
point guard in NBA right now, top 3. It's going to have to be Russell Westbrook. You know that.
That's right.
James Harden is getting busy, as usual.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a third guard that I like. Mike Conley Jr. I think not.
Wow. Boom, drop the mic.
I think not. He's not on there. I think I'm not. I'm trying to think of one more.
He's the agent favorite.
I put Kyle. No, matter of fact, I'm putting Kyrie, man. Kyrie.
Okay, Uncle Drew.
That's my three.
How about you?
Yeah,
Flo?
Uncle Drew, man.
Who just had 3-point guards in the NBA right now?
Number one, Stephen Curry.
Okay, Mr.
Definitely, Golden
MVP.
State. Definitely. Number 2 and number 3. Woo! I'm gonna go with Dame Lillard, man.
You like that's your man right there. You like Dame. I like him too.
I want to go with Dame Lillard, man.
Okay.
And number 3. Woo! Oh man, that's a tough one, man. Tough one. Pure point guard. I'm gonna go with Chris Paul, man.
Okay.
I know some people's gonna be mad at me right now, but I'll go with Chris Paul.
Definitely good picks. I can't disagree with both of y'all. But for me, my top 3 would have to be, I got to give to Curry, 2-time MVP. In no order right now, because his defense, to me, I'm just going to say it's not the best. I won't say it's atrocious, but to me, it is a big liability. And you're seeing it when you get against physical point guards in the playoffs. That's a big drop he takes with that to me. But he plays so well offensively, it's hard to really nitpick with that. Also, number 2 to me would be Russell Westbrook. You've seen what he's doing without KD. You've seen what he did before when KD was hurt. You know, he's to me, he's like a LeBron type guy in a small person's body. He plays that same type of thing. He's fearless. He plays with energy. He jumps over everybody. To me, that's one of the top point guards in the league. Even though he may not be your prototypical point guard, he gets the job done. And I got to go with my man, Uncle Drew, you know, Kyrie Irving. He's clutch. He can dribble with the best of him. He can pass. He's still young. You still only seeing the tip of the iceberg with him as long as he stay healthy. But for the NBA GMs who they picked for this year, number 1, Stephen Curry with 63%, Chris Paul at 20%, which I bet he would have been my 4th to me. Russell Westbrook was at 10%, and Kyrie was at 6.7%. So basically, that's the trivia question for the day. NBA GM survey: do you agree or disagree? I thank y'all fellas for doing this thing. I think it might give people out there a little something different to look at, something they might have been guessing at the same time. I appreciate it. And just closing remarks wise. Any closing remarks for you, Flo?
This was definitely another great episode on this podcast, episode number 2. I enjoyed it, guys. Definitely. Knicksfandom all the way, number 1.
Definitely. How about you, Danny D?
Hey, man. Just another day is the slogan that we say. And like I said, please let's get a win. Please let's get a win.
Yeah, we need it, man. We need it. And closing remarks for me. I appreciate both of you fellas doing this. We're going to keep it going. We appreciate all the fans out there. Keep sharing, keep downloading, keep listening. Just keep having fun with it. Enjoy the Knicks. Enjoy this. As I know it's hard right now, but enjoy it. Hope you enjoy the podcast. We're going to try to keep getting better, keep bringing different things. Got a little different show coming next week. A little different twist on it. Hopefully you enjoy it. So basically, make sure you tune in. Also, keep looking for us on Spreaker as well as on iTunes. That's it, fellas. We're about to sign off. Have a good one.